We've seen plenty of partisan battles over the course of this country's history, but few have had longer-lasting consequences than the one going on in D.C. right now over the nomination of Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the U.S. Supreme Court. Now, before you roll your eyes and say we've already talked about this, let me say this isn't a political case I'm looking to make. In fact, I have no interest in bringing up her credentials or whether her views are in or out of the mainstream, and I won't even mention the T word, because neither this particular nominee nor the person who happens to be sitting in the Oval Office matter in this particular argument. What does matter is something I've said before, and I'm sure I'll say again. Other than declaring war, there is no greater authority a president has than the power to nominate justices to the Supreme Court. Because the group of 9 people not only shape the path of the nation for generations, they also get to stay on the job for the rest of their lives, which is unheard of in just about every other position in the world, except, of course, kings and queens. But given the whole premise of the founding of the U.S. was a fairly firm rejection of that kind of thing, maybe it's time we rethink this whole lifetime appointment thing and switch to something I've long advocated for: Supreme Court term limits. Of course, it's not exactly a new idea, but it does seem to be growing in popularity. In a recent poll conducted by the organization Fix the Court, more than 3/4 of voters back the notion. And even Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer told me he could get behind it. It was a couple of years back when he was on this show.
I would say there should be a long tenure. Whether it's a term of years or not, maybe it would be better to have a term of years, but it must be long, because you don't want a person in that job thinking about his next job.
And that's why 3 House Democrats, including Congressman Joe Kennedy, have put forth legislation that would set 18-year term limits for all future high court justices. That would mean each president would get to nominate 2 justices per term in office. And if you think the idea is DOA because it would require a constitutional amendment, a lengthy, near impossible, and risk-laden process, not so fast. Because the article in question, that's Article 3, states that judges and justices must continue to hold their offices during good behavior. And under this bill, Supreme Court justices who reach their 18-year limit would simply be designated senior justices, maintaining their same pay as their work in federal courts, which many legal experts say works within the limits of what the Constitution lays out. And should an unexpected vacancy occur in the court, such as a death, a senior justice will be able to step up and fill that role. Sounds pretty reasonable to me. So while term limits certainly won't close the nation's massive partisan divide, they might at least offer a little more balance as the court weighs the laws that will affect the lives of all of us for generations to come. What do you think? Email us, tweet us, share your thoughts. And one final note before we go, there was another issue that came up during Judge Coney Barrett's hearing today that shouldn't go unnoticed, courtesy of Senator Chuck Grassley.
Many of us believe that allowing cameras in the courtroom would open the courts to the public and bring about a better understanding of the judiciary.
You can count me among the many, and as I've said on the show several times before, but how does the nominee feel about the idea?
I would certainly keep an open mind about allowing cameras in the Supreme Court.
I really hope she means that.